academia as well, you know, as you're trying to figure out exactly how to squeeze this stone, hoping that rent will fall out. So I had been an instructor at a music school in St. Paul, Minnesota called McNally Smith. Oh yeah, thanks. All right. And it was my first couple of years, and to be very frank with you, as an instructor who was young and she was coming out of the hip-hop tradition, you know, not out of maybe an Ivy League tradition, I had a lot to prove. And so I was staying up really late for the years that I spent there as a regular instructor. And I took particular care in the grading of papers, because when I was little, I was very much like a Lisa Simpson type, you know? Like the grade me, grade me, grade me, grade me thing. And I figured, man, if there were a time when you were more vulnerable or more attentive to the feedback that a grade gives you than in a music school where you really, really care about the shit that you're doing, I don't know what it would be. So I thought, all right, if these kids are really giving their best, I want to make sure to grade them thoughtfully and intelligently and to tell them, hey, this is why the alliteration of the assonance isn't working. And this is exactly why this is an awkward chorus. Or this is why the internal rhyme scheme here wasn't as successful as I think you had intended it to be. So I'm staying up really late. And there's a day that I'm handing back papers, and I was handing back one of my favorite students a paper that she had earned a B- on. And I was apprehensive that she was gonna be like salty or hurt by the fact that she didn't earn that grade that we're all hoping for every time, you know? And so I wrote on it, Lauren, and we'll call her Lauren, because that's her name. I just want you to know that your feedback in class is invaluable. So here's my critique of your paper. And so she came the next day and she said, can I talk to you for a minute? Very collected. And I said, yeah, of course. I'm thinking, oh, she's gonna tell me that she's so bummed about this grade, you know? And she said, Miss Dessa, does invaluable mean without value? I know, like, instant melt. So then I'm staying up even later grading this shit because I want to make sure that I'm really communicating my points to these like very impressionable, very dear students to me, man. I took this shit serious. I took it really fucking serious. So I'm staying up late and I've developed like a very creepy, tactile, and geographical system on the floor of my apartment, where all the A's are like, you know, next, it's a one-bedroom apartment, so it's just me, like in a sea of term papers, trying to make sure that all the A's are of approximately the same, you know, kind of value, essentially, have demonstrated the same skill set, and all the B's, okay, yeah, this feels good, this feels good, this feels good. It's like 4 in the morning. I think I'm good. And so, I've been staying up kind of indefensibly late. I'm getting a little creepy, and I'm looking less presentable every morning when I actually arrive to school to teach. And I also feel that I have like a cold coming on because I'm not sleeping. So I take a vitamin before I go to bed, hoping that that will knock out whatever kind of impending contagion I have just contracted. And my plan is foiled by the fact that in my haste, I have taken this pill completely perpendicular to my esophagus. And so I can feel with like unnerving sensitivity, like the parameters of said pill and the contours. Like I could read the lettering on the pill in Braille in my throat. And it just sort of, its descent, painful and uncomfortable, just sort of stops. And I was like a science geek enough to be able to imagine in like perfect 3D AutoCAD rendering, like where in my vocal folds the pill had stopped descending. So long-term, my concern is this could do some damage to my vocal cords. And my short-term concern is I don't think I can like breathe. And so I go to my sink and I fill a cup with water and I take it down hoping to just sort of force the pill down, and all of the water comes up through my nose. And I'm like, wow, I think I'm having an emergency. Like a real emergency now. So in a very quick succession, my mind sort of catalogs all of the options that are immediately available to me. Okay, I've got my roommate who's a very nice woman, very strong. She is sleeping right now. Okay, so I could wake her up, but I can sort of, if I position myself in kind of I don't know if you've seen The Land Before Time. That's probably a generational thing. But if I position myself like a long neck, I can kind of, there is some oxygen that can pass around said vitamin, although I'm aware of the fact that because it has been coded for easy swallowing, that coding is sort of expanding, so there's a time limit on this long neck solution. But I figure, you know, if I wake up my very strong roommate, she's gonna do one thing when you go like that. Everybody's gonna try to, you know, you try the Heimlich maneuver. There's one thing that we know how to do from watching TV or being a Girl Scout or whatever, and that's the Heimlich maneuver. But I think for that to work, you have to have a very solid seal. It has to be occluded, because else she's just gonna come up and break my fucking ribs. So I'm like, we're not waking up the roommate. And so maybe I should heat the water. Maybe I should put salt, and then it really starts swelling. And so I call 911, and in a very like Gollum-y voice, I explain what has happened, and the dispatcher's like, okay, do you want me to send somebody? And I was like, I think I do, yes. You know, and like jamming on the telephone buttons to indicate yes. However unlikely, I would like you to dispatch a pair of medics to my house to help me with this vitamin. Word. Okay, so now the logistics of the vitamin emergency have at least been addressed. Help is en route. And at that point, like, just sort of leaning over my sink, I have the opportunity to really, like, contemplate my philosophical objections to having a vitamin lodged in my zone. Because I am an adventurer, man. I travel around with 6 crazy in a white van, and half the time they have a tattoo party in the other room. I mean, literally, like, just give each other tattoos until the sun comes up and then we drive to the next city. Like, I'm an adventurous person. I have lived dangerously. I've had sex with people whose last names I don't know. I have hitchhiked in Africa. I have landed a plane. I have been attacked by a mad dog and a baby caiman in a motorboat. Once on a train, I accidentally maced my own vagina. I have done cool, weird shit. I have developed an immunity to iocane powder, and this is fucking ridiculous, man. You send a storm for Amelia, you send an asp for Cleopatra, and I get a Walgreens multivitamin. And then I have, admittedly, like a very self-indulgent fantasy of like the CSI version, you know? Like after the tape that the paramedics never come, and on autopsy after the pill has dissolved, they're just like, I have no idea. Her magnesium levels were awesome. Iron, 13.2, no anemia here. It was an oxygen underdose. And then in a less jocular way, there's also the fact that waiting at like 4:30 in the morning for paramedics to come save you from yourself. I happened at that point in my life to be in a pretty serious case of unrequited love. And unrequited love, it's, you know, it's like braces. It's gonna happen. You need it, but you don't want to die with that. You hope to be done with that by the time that you are dead. And so, being a writer, I spend a lot of time, you know, in front of Microsoft Word, so I generally turn there first for all of my metaphors. But it was like, you know, when you copy something in Microsoft Word, and then if you were to go and shut the program down, it's like, wait, are you sure that you want to shut it down? Because you've got something on the clipboard. And I'm like, no, I don't want to shut it down. And my boyfriend's like, I want you to close the application. I am dating a new word processor. We need to just close the application. And then you have to, because he said that you have to, but then you have to, for the rest of your life, drag this like very heavy leaden clipboard with this very tender thing. And you never get to paste it.